Hey, good Sunday morning, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Caitlin Francis. One man is donating his family's war memorabilia to the D-Day Memorial. WDBJ7's Lindsay Kane has the story. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib is speaking out for the first time after deciding not to visit Israel. She's very upset she won't be able to visit her grandmother in the West Bank. Tlaib has called Israel's policies toward Palestinians oppressive and racist. She and fellow Democrat Ilhan Omar were scheduled to visit Israel this weekend. President Trump has been feuding with the freshman lawmakers for months and is now also weighing in on the issue. Israel reversed its decision after she appealed on humanitarian grounds, but ultimately she had to cancel that visit. Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers are threatening legal action. They are not satisfied by the medical examiner's claim their client died by suicide. New York City's chief medical examiner says an autopsy on Epstein shows he hanged himself with enough force to break several bones in his neck. But Epstein's lawyers are promising to conduct their own investigation. The Department of Justice reassigned the warden and placed 2 prison staffers on administrative leave. A Buena Vista author has written a history of the hurricane in the area. Barry Staton wrote Camille 50 years later in life along the Maury River to share his memories and the results of his research on what happened in 1969. Staton was only 12 years old when the flooding hit. The Rockbridge Historical Society will also have a special event on Camille. That's today at Perry McClure High School. And Camille is also being remembered through music. Take a listen.
It was August 19th in the year 69.
You're taking a listen to musician John Mark Jones. He was a Lexington High School teacher 50 years ago when a friend gave him a poem about the flooding caused by Hurricane Camille, asked him to put it to some music. He says the night of the flood was the first song he ever wrote, and it was released as a record in January of 1970. It's been used at ceremonies and commemorations ever since. And of course, just a quick reminder, coming up here at 8:30, we're going to have Remembering Camille airing here on WDBJ7. But before that, we're going to be back with a full check on this hot weekend forecast. Stay with us. Now let's take a look at what's trending this morning. Drew Barrymore could be expanding her already very diverse resume as the newest daytime TV talk show host. The actress filmed a pilot episode for a talk show that's in the works with CBS. The network has not commented on the project yet, but Barrymore would also be an executive producer of the show. Well, this is pretty cool. The car Steve McQueen drove in the 1968 film Bullitt is heading for the auction block. It was featured in a sequence that many say set the standard for on-screen car chases. Look at that car. Ooh. The 1968 Ford Mustang GT recently turned back up after it disappeared for decades. The car goes up for auction in Florida in January. And thank you for being a friend. What does that remind you of?
Oh, a little Golden Girls action. Toy Story, like that one.
Yeah, Toy Story works too. But we're talking Golden Girls. Big fans of the beloved 80s sitcom can rent this house in Ardmore, Oklahoma. It pays homage to the show and one of the stars that grew up there, Rue McClanahan, who played Blanche. On the show, you can find the 3-bedroom home available for rent on Airbnb. Huh. So it's not modeled after the show, but there's just like little nods to the actors, the characters, and the
all
show.
Throughout the house.
Yeah, I liked watching that one.
Yeah,
it was a good show.
Good TV.
A town of creepy dolls. Oh no, and a record-breaking skydiver. Check out those stories and more in today's Take a Look at This. But yeah, they say a dog is man's best friend. I would probably agree, person's best friend. And for one officer in Indiana, that could not be more true. Earlier this summer, Officer Stuart Bishop got a call to help what police believed to be an abandoned dog. Well, Officer Bishop found the dog left for dead, tied to the fence with just 2 feet of leash. It's heartbreaking. When he released him from the leash, Bishop said there was an instant connection. Months later, he adopted the husky, now named Rizzo. I love it.
I love that.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going from sweet to a little
we're just like up and down.
Different.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, salty, sweet. Yeah, salty is right.
I don't know where we're going with this.
No, that was a good guess.
That's a good word. So this might be more common than you think. You having a good cry.
Girls are familiar with this.
At
ladies.
work. At work. Crying at work. A new study shows 8 out of 10 people say they have cried at work. 45% of those people say their bosses or coworkers were the reason. About 1/5 of those people say it was just due to a non-work issue. I don't know if we need to say this, but this report states crying at work can be a sign of a toxic environment. I didn't realize it was that many people. 8 out of 10, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah, I'm
That's
slightly tearing up from this forecast.
oh
No.
No?
It's sad,
Just hot
I
and
guess.
humid, yeah. See?
That's
what I'm
something to be
saying.
sad about.
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, I think a lot of people don't like the heat.
Some
and
people
humidity.
might.
Huh?
Several far-right groups rallied in Portland, Oregon, while members of Antifa, a left-wing movement opposed to fascism, took to the streets at the same time. Portland's entire police department was there. That's nearly 1,000 officers trying to keep those protests peaceful. Police say they did confiscate several weapons, including bear spray, shields, and metal poles. But overall, it was just a war of words. Police say 13 people were arrested. The man accused of shooting 6 police officers in an hours-long standoff in Philadelphia is now officially facing charges. 36-year-old Maurice Hill, you see him there, he's being charged with attempted murder as well as several assault charges. Hill is accused of shooting at officers who were serving a drug warrant Wednesday. Family and friends are honoring the children killed in last week's daycare fire in Erie, Pennsylvania. 4 tiny caskets rolled down the aisle of Bayfront Convention Center. You see them there. The children were ages 8, 6, and 4. The youngest was just 9 months old. A 5th child was also killed in the fire. His funeral service will be held tomorrow. We're taking a turn now to our hometown forecast with meteorologist Christian Johansson. Christian, I think the AC is going to get a big workout again today and then for the next several days as we are hopefully waiting for at least a brief cool down.
Hopefully.
And you know, we always remind you, just in case, keep an eye on your pets, your kids, elderly neighbors, all of the above. You want to make sure everybody is staying hydrated and cool, especially in this oppressive humidity.
Dangerous heat. Yeah.
Yep, and the weather app is always very handy.
It is, especially in the afternoon with those storms firing up.
Exactly. All right, thanks, Christian. Following a recent crash in Roanoke that sent a bicyclist to the hospital, other cyclists are now urging everyone on 2 wheels and 4 to stay alert while out on the road. The mechanic at Cardinal Bicycle says cyclists need to take extra steps to keep themselves safe. That means wearing bright colored clothing, putting things like lights on both the front and back of their bike. And of course, if you're behind the wheel, you also need to stay alert and share the road. An actress with deep roots in Charlottesville stopped by the city for a very special viewing of an upcoming movie she's starring in. Wright Thompson will be making her big screen debut next week in the movie Overcomer. But first, she gave Charlottesville a first look at what the movie has to offer. She said getting the chance to show the film in her second home with her family was very special. Hey, it is time for Pet Stories. We have Kathleen Herndon here with us from the Roanoke Valley SPCA this morning. Thanks for joining us, Kathleen.
Absolutely.
And this big guy is Blackbeard.